Margie. Wow.
Wow. And welcome to this edition of Valley Black Talk Radio on the ONME Network. Of course, this one time it's pre-recorded. And it's because we're here at the African American Museum.
Yeah.
Nice
Don't we look like we're real professional folk? Look at that backdrop behind us. Oh, yeah, and I'm leaning back like, oh, I'm not going to even ask Lennox who I look like, because he would already.
You already said what you look like. You know, I wonder how you would look like.
No, we're moving right along. No, we're right. This is when the last week of the last of December of 2015, and you think I'm gonna put that on?
Yeah.
Oh no.
End the year right.
No.
Yeah.
No. Now I might wear the hat. Might.
The glasses, these are so cool right here.
Yeah.
You know, oh look at that! I got 3 different things going on here.
Oh yeah. Now that fits you. 2016. You right on with that. Right on with that. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, slow it down.
I can slow it down.
Oh yeah. Strobe light like back in the day.
Need my afro.
Oh yeah, that'll work.
I'm bringing 2016.
I see. And so many things to bring along with it too. Man, we have so many things that are happening that are going to be following us in 2016.
Yes.
Some of them are quite interesting, and I'm hoping that a lot of them will connect at the local level. I know I'm jumping ahead of the gun here, so I'm gonna back off. Okay, all right, okay. Well, since it's a local vendor, then let me do this.
What? Okay.
Bing, bada,
Bing,
bing.
bada, bing.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a local vendor.
Yeah,
Yeah, we want to
local
support
vendor.
local.
Support
Yes.
local.
Yeah, okay.
Tonight's night of Kwanzaa, Ujamaa, Cooperative Economics, is based on...
Say that again. What is that? Kunjama?
Ujamaa.
Okay.
Ujamaa.
Okay.
Some people say, see, it's right up there. Got a cheat sheet.
Yeah,
right
if you
there.
can see well, you could read that. Yeah. Ujamaa.
So Ujamaa, and so we have business vendors that are going to be here in the African American Museum tonight.
Oh, great.
Portraying some of their businesses, so we'll get some of that footage for
Wonderful.
So I just wanted people to know about 2016.
It's on the way, y'all. It's on the way. It's already here. Some of you will see it's already here.
You know, a simple idea,
Mm-hmm.
a little $5 idea. People are like, oh, okay, that's it. Now that's called taking advantage of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
2016, because you know people are going to want little crafty things like this. And there's 3 different.
You have to
ones.
set on your mantle.
Yeah.
As you walk into your home and you see that you want to introduce 2016.
It is just so simple. But yeah, so we appreciate the local vendor for having these on the Valley Black Talk Radio ONME Network. Too late to really put our ONME shopper. This is just something local if you want to get that between now and Kwanzaa. And speaking of Kwanzaa is tonight. Ujamaa, Cooperative Economics, and then tomorrow I'm speaking on purpose, Nia.
Oh, you speaking?
Yeah.
Oh, purpose.
I'm speaking
Nia.
on purpose.
Nia.
Yes. Look, see,
Nia. Yeah. Okay.
Purpose. And we also have Kuumba, which is the night of creativity. That's the 31st. And then finally, we have the last day, Imani, Faith, which is January 1st. And so that's what's happening at the African American Museum. Hence, we decided to broadcast from here.
Great. It's a different look, different feel.
Yeah, it is a different feel.
Yeah.
Making us get more into what we want to.
Poor Jewel, she's missing this.
She is missing it. She wants to be in 2 places at one time.
You can't do that.
It's not possible.
Well, you can, but there's some magic you have to do to make that happen, and
Do you have a magic carpet?
Yeah.
Do I want to get to somewhere on a magic carpet? So the ONME shopper, for those of you still shopping, you might want to get your 2016 calendar. We do have our African American nationwide vendors, and that you'll see featured in the shopper. And you go to shop, and you can see on your screen, if you go to shop.myonme.com, that's for mobile, or if you go online on your desktop, it's just myonme.com. You go to the shopper and you click on it, it's right there. So we have a lot of people that want to sign up for that tonight. That's another reason why we're here to get that done. And I don't know, Mel, I feel like I haven't seen you in a week. I didn't see you before Christmas.
No, you guys are having such a great time flying around with Rudolph and the gang,
Rudolph.
Santa Claus. I heard about you.
You got to tell your grandson's got to tell us about Rudolph and all that.
No, it's funny that he wants to hold on to that, but yet he wants to, see what else he got. He knows what Santa's going to bring, but I want to know what you did. Papa, where's your gift? What did you get me? Yeah.
Man, what happened to just having a special time with them and cherishing that? Remember you said you were
Spoil rotten. I said all of that, but boy, this guy, man, I just couldn't. Nah, he wants something, and well, very inquisitive at that age. They want to know so much about Santa Claus and all. the rest of the things that go along
And
with
so he
that.
asked you about Santa Claus?
Oh yeah. So I don't want to bust his bubble, but he wants to be a little greedy. Not only does he want Santa Claus stuff, he wants to know what did I get. Yeah. So
I hardly see him.
yeah.
But I feel like I know him already.
He was here for the first for Unity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was here.
You know what's cool? Because Kayande spoke
Mhm.
yesterday, and he speaks almost every day, but the little people spoke. So I remind me of your grandson.
Mhm.
They were not shy.
Mhm.
They got up and talked about what they want to see, because it was Collect UG last night,
Mhm.
Collective Work and Responsibility. These guys seem like about 4 and 7 years old. They were that little.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to applaud the parents
Yes.
for making sure
And
that
the
they instill it.
grandparents. One of them was with a
Yeah.
grandparent, and he was not shy.
Well, good. That's great.
I was so happy to see that. And so that's what's happening with Kwanzaa this week, which was started by Dr. Milana Karinga.
Mhm.
And so that's supposed to be something where we're all supposed to evaluate ourselves in this community. Now, on VBTalk Radio, we do a lot of evaluating.
Yeah, yes, we do, and some more to come too. But it's interesting that the principles of Kwanzaa. Does it just have to be during this time of year? Can it be practiced throughout?
It's supposed to be throughout the year.
Because it's so essential. Every one of those days have great significance to our community, and it seems that we need to do more to educate folks. A lot of people, African Americans in particular, well, whites too, I guess, believe it's a religious ceremony, but it's not.
No, it's not.
And that's the part that we really have to stress, so that we begin to make sure that we get greater participation from our traditional places, if you will, the churches, because with a better understanding, this all fits. Even though it's not religious, you can connect it religiously to components of your faith, of how you're supposed to treat one another. And man, we need to really stress this more.
We say that every year.
Yeah.
At Kwanzaa, we say that.
Yeah.
Somehow.
And I guess it gives Kwanzaa greater ownership of that effort, and maybe that might be some reluctancy of some of the traditional religious folks who may not want to, line up with something that doesn't give them all the power.
It doesn't interfere with Christmas. It doesn't interfere with anything.
True, all of that. I understand that, but I'm just thinking of individuals who may not want to line up with that because they may feel like it's going to pull something away from whatever they're doing. So. Well, it's a process. We have to continue to educate and continue to expose, and that's why programs like this are so essential, because people can learn from here, and a lot of them have. As we move further down the program, I'm sure we'll have again. Yeah, we're going to have some discussion about that, because I think it's exciting to hear that people are really paying attention when what even makes it more exciting to me. We've been a bit more difficult to find, and they still find us.
They find us somewhere.
So.
Even one of the black farmers said, "Yeah, but looking for y'all. First you guys skipped on to the other stage, first one, and then we went to on the AN, and he said he found us, and they said, where'd y'all disappear to now? I said, well, online now. I said, that's even better.
Yeah.
I said, because we don't have to be censored.
Yeah, we can say what we need to say. Yeah,
like we were before.
yeah.
So he said, oh, okay, I just need the information, so I wrote it all down for him.
Yeah, and I think that's going to grow as we move to broaden our footprint in the valley. People will be more inclined to say, well, I need to know what's going on in the African American community. And I'm not ashamed to say that, because I think that's what's missing. I'm so sick and tired of folks who want to be all things to all people. I'm jumping the gun again. I go ahead. Because, man, it just bugs me when I hear people who make those kinds of statements about, you can't just talk about African Americans. You have to talk about everybody. Oh, really? Well, tell me, when you go to Cinco de Mayo, they say anything about black folks? Oh, okay. Well, when you go to the Asian, this is going on right now, you go to the Asian event that's happening at the fairgrounds. Yeah. You think you're going to be hearing some conversation about African Americans?
Rightfully so, though. It's their...
Exactly. That's and I'm not mad at them for that. They're recognizing their communities. So why is it that we have to...
in our community at the same time, so why can't we do the same thing?
Exactly the same, yes.
Yeah,
they really do, and even black folks need to know more about black folks, because a lot of them, I remember that movie, Boys in the Hood, and the kid in the classroom, and he said, "Oh, y'all from Africa," and the little kid in the front seat said, "Oh, I ain't no African booty scratcher."
You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's and folks are still struggling with images that have been forced upon us and concepts and ideas. I was with my mom again, bless her soul. We were riding someplace. Oh, we lost a very close friend of ours and an athletic legend in the Valley. David Henderson passed away, and so Sunday we went up to visit the family and share with them. And
Can you
on
talk
the way,
about, I'm glad you brought that
yeah.
up. Can you talk about David Henderson?
Yeah, he was an outstanding young man. He was community sensitive. He was his mom remarried after, but he was the baby of the family when we all grew up together. And he did all kinds of little things that little kids did that he got away with. And some of them he took all the way to almost to his adulthood. I'm not going to tell what that is, but his family and friends that know him close, they know what he did while he was out there in center field with that glove in front of his face. Yeah, behind that glove, yeah, we ain't gonna tell what he was doing, but you would expect that from little bitty kids, but not from high school seniors out in center field, But I was in the travel to Dos Palace when we were going up. We were talking about somehow or another. We were talking about the grade of hair of and
Talk about good and bad hair.
there it is. There it is. That was the comment. Yeah, she was saying about, oh yeah, they had that. My mom used to be the barber for all of us kids, David and the rest of them. We didn't have money, so she took on the challenge of, being the barber for everybody.
Oh, she did.
And so
Pretty good at it? I tried that.
she got to be. She didn't start out that way, and then if you didn't have money, so what? Whatever it was, we used to call it the bowl cut. It looked like she put a bowl around our head and cut around it. That's what.
The bowl has a little.
Yeah.
A little design, and then I try to even it out, and then the bowl gets lost.
Yep. But it comes with practice, and she had a chance to kind of work on that. But she was saying about one of the kids that she cut. She's cut and said, it's tough cutting his hair because if he moved any at all, be a nick in his hair because he had that real good hair. And I just said to myself, real good hair, huh? Yeah, okay, Mom. Yeah, that's what they grew up with. They figured that the straighter the hair was, it was good hair. So I just kind of laughed.
Because I know I was a geeky man.
Oh, I know mine was too.
Also, we lost the Globetrotter.
Yes, yeah. Meadowlark Lemon, yeah.
And he was and I didn't realize because he wasn't able to get in the NBA because he was black.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they allowed him to, I guess, show his skills in the Globetrotter.
Mm-hmm.
At 83 years old.
Yeah, known around the world, a world traveler who befriended hundreds of thousands of folks. We met kings and queens and folks from all over the globe. He recognized. I remember in his induction to the NBA Hall of Fame, he mentioned a couple of the athletes of the day, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and I forget another basketball player that he made some humorous comments about. And I was just watching the other day, and the way they just kind of, they didn't just laugh. it was a heartfelt chuckle that, him say, because I'm sure he had hundreds of stories he could have shared with folks about some of the things that he had to go through, even though he was that kind of an entertainer and everybody loved him publicly. But when it came time for him to go to the restaurant to eat, in the South in particular, he couldn't go to the front door. Oh, no, you go to the back. Well, man, we just played across the street. No, I'm sorry. You go to the back door. May not like, so you're going to tell them you're sick because I don't want to listen to her or anybody like, someone that may not be in support of your position, so you claim to be sick. No. You bite the bullet and you show up. That's what you get the check for,
Because the guy Sloan said he said that it's very legal, according to the article.
It's legal or illegal?
It's legal. In fact, if there's somebody sleep on the council even at the state level, they're sleeping during the meeting, you don't have to wake them up.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
But they're present.
Right. That's why
They're saying not being president casting your vote. No. If you're there, fine. If you step away, then there's a strategy to that. Sometimes you step away so that your vote will not be counted because of the position of your community. You don't want that to be on the record that you voted one way or the other, so you simply find a reason to excuse yourself during the time of the vote.
That's different.
And if, depending on what your leadership is like, they may or may not let you slide with that because the president can say, hey, wait a minute, let's make sure we include everybody's vote. And they won't give you an out but depending on your relationship, they work deals. But I think it's important to have it included in there that you have to be present to cast your vote. I don't think you should be able to mail your vote in or call your vote in, or I think you need to be present.
Okay. So the stipulations of the Brown Act, even though there might be mild violations there, it's what do they do? Because that's something that was passed, and apparently a lot of other local governments are doing that, and city governments are doing that. Even though the Brown Act says at an open meeting that constituents are allowed to voice their opinion, which
Of course.
can change the
Of course,
vote.
yeah. And it can, in a lot of cases, especially when it's done in mass. When you have an issue on the agenda and you have 200 people show up, yes.
And you've already voted.
Yeah. After, but even prior to, I'm thinking about, the reason that you would have a vote and having public input is so that they have an opportunity to try to persuade the council or the governing board to do whatever they think is in the best interest of the community, rather than just simply saying, we elected you, you do the job. This is the opportunity for checks and balances from the community to have their input. So I think it's better to leave it the way that it has been for a long time, because it is a tool that can be used politically to help you if you're a minority and you're about to lose, or if you are, if you need to have more time to have greater input from someone else that may be able to help change the minds of the folks on the council. They have to be present in order to do that. So it's all kind of little things that I think are an asset. I don't look at it as, this is going to help the process by, it may speed it up, but I don't know if it'll help the process by you being able to vote from, say you got a trip, you got to go to Washington, D.C., and there's an important issue on the agenda, and they postpone it, just postpone them, to pull that item from the agenda and let's do it. Even if we have to have, there's all kinds of rules for special meetings and that kind of stuff. Plus, our city council is about the highest paid city council in the valley. I don't know if any city councilman, they make more money than these guys. These guys, they claim this is a full-time job. So if this is a full-time job,
Then technically you should be there full-time.
yes, if that's, and then if you have to have a,
Sick where you are vomiting, or I don't know. I just feel
but
like
you
when
can call for a special meeting. If it's necessary, you can post it and call for a special meeting to handle this particular item. So that shouldn't be an issue, whether or not to give you a way out by calling in your vote. I don't think that's, I take it a bit more serious than that. And I would, and the salary that they're getting, I would hope that they would too. Because, you call it a full-time, and we know that it's really not a full-time job. Most of them have other businesses that go along with that. But, if the public is not complaining about you getting those kind of salaries, then earn them and don't just mail your vote in.
or just give a vote as a proxy. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you talked about, because that's what I feel. I guess that's one topic or issue we actually agree on.
Yeah, finally, huh? We found one that we.
I don't know about the next topic that we're about to come up, but that was on one. What else has happened locally that we need to cover?
There's some school business that's going on right now that right now they're formulating, getting ready for the next school year. There's a lot of notices that have to be given to. One of the things that Darren was concerned about was able to be successful in his lawsuit against Madera, is that there's a time factor in terms of notifying folks that whether or not they're going to be back, the following year or not in that same capacity. And school districts have to do that by the March and April deadlines. And they start talking about that and preparing for that right after school starts again the first of the year. They start doing their planning and their budgeting and all that stuff, so that by the end of the school year, they're pretty much set to what they're going to do for the upcoming school year. And there's a great concern about the new Washington Unified School District in terms of what is their plan to kind of meet the needs of that community in terms of ethnic equity, which is not existing at the present time. They don't have representation from every.
Ethnic equity representation, and you're looking at 2016. 2015 is gone. How is there not ethnic representation? What does that mean?
Well, that to me, it has to do.
Black folks being represented, or?
No. This district merged in 2010 with the Washington Union High School, the American Union Elementary School, and the West Fresno Elementary School District. And to this date, since 2010 to 2015, there are no African-American administrators.
How is that possible?
Well, the claim is this. It was raised by our local chapter president of the NACP when he went out and had a conversation with him last July, is that they cannot find people that will stay once they identify those people who are qualified, because another school district will outbid them and they will simply take a job someplace else. Now, that sounds good on the surface. And if you don't know any better, you think that makes sense. I mean, they're going to go with the highest pay. Well, wait a minute. Let me look at your budget. How much money you got? Is this a special need? Is this something that you believe warrants doing something extra for? Well, is there a law that says you can't go over and above pulling someone in that you know you need to help bring some balance to your staff? That question needs to be raised by the community, and see what response you get back for them. Plus, it's an election year. I mean, there are 4 seats that are going to be up for re-election in the Washington Unified District, and so.
So how do we get people involved? We always say that we talk about it being election year, but how do we get the right people in those positions?
I think one of the first things we got to keep continuing to do what we do here, and that is making people aware. And then there are key people in the community that we need to reach out to who may not even know that they have the ability to influence, and share with them the importance of them being involved, because once they get it, then things start to change. And it doesn't take a whole lot of folks in the war room, if you will, to help make that difference or distinction, but it does take the masses to support the people who come out of that war room with a plan. And there is where a lot of times we fail. We fail to make that connection from the war room to the general public, who can then be the army that we need to help bring about the change that's necessary. So I think that's where we start. And then we keep talking about folks who have the ability to lead. And the other thing is we definitely need to have our own academy in terms of training for folks that want to learn how to be public servants.
I think that's I think we don't have enough training.
Yes.
Because there's a generation that skipped that didn't teach the generation that's coming up. So you have a skip generation, and there's a pattern of that.
And I think
Young people are not interested. I know at very young age, I was involved in politics at the age of 13, 12? No, even before that. My parents made me join student government, even though I didn't want to. So even before that.
Did you learn something there?
I
Yeah.
read Robert's Rules.
Yes.
I was a secretary.
Yeah.
My mom said, no, you're going to run for this?
Yeah.
So I run for every position.
Yeah.
I know secretary, I know treasurer,
Yeah.
vice president, president. Then I was in Jack and Jill, and then I was part of the NAACP.
Right.
She made me run for office and all those. So if you don't have somebody pushing you to do that, how are you going to, where are you going to learn that stuff?
Yeah, you know where we used to learn it?
Where?
Churches, Sunday school, and your department, your youth departments, those kinds of. Now, they didn't have all of the rules of Robert's Rules of Order, but they had some standard of organizational structure that you learn that. But the competition is so great now in terms of young people and well, just people in general, and our religious institutions. A lot of them didn't change in terms of their ability to reach out to folks, or to find another way to share with the community, or be receptive to the community. So a lot of them are, they're not flourishing as they the way they used to years ago, when you could go to a church and a pastor would be the person you'd contact to say, look, I got a problem out of my job and I need somebody to go talk. I don't want to say anything, but can you go down and talk? Because there's several of us down here that, this is what happened. This guy hires his cousin, and we've been there for 20 years, and they don't even give us the opportunity to apply for it. This guy comes in fresh out of college, and some of these guys don't even have college degrees. They come in and they get the jobs, and we know the work. We have to train them, yet we can't get the interview for the job. Can you go talk to him? And the pastor would be the person that would go in.
So
and
what happened to those days? That's gone, is what you're saying. Or
yeah, it's slight. There are not a whole lot of those left that have that.
This generation of preachers don't know any better. They don't know about politics. They don't feel like they should be involved at that level.
Sad to say, an awful lot of them don't believe that it's a match for what they do in terms of their leadership of their congregation, their flock. They missed the connection of, hey, look, how a person is able to provide for themselves and their families is a direct reflection of how they're going to be able to treat the church. And so those pastors that don't get that, they're finding that their flocks are are diminishing, and a lot of people are just they're staying home. They're not. Oh, why should I go? I mean, it seems like they're only after themselves. So I can find God on TV, so I don't need to go out there and But we have an opportunity to change that image if we were so inclined to do so, because we're stronger. We're much stronger together than we are when we're fragmented and everybody's doing their own thing. And
we haven't figured that out yet in this community.
yeah, a lot of splinters. Yeah.
You're stuck, you get your fingers stuck.
Oh yeah, and you sit down and you slide, you get more splinters. So
It's an amazing thing, these splinters.
yeah, and I
Definitely a splinter community.
but
And I don't know, that too shall come to pass.
it's otherwise you die. I mean, and the harder the times are, you would think, and I see it getting better to some degree. Folks are forced to take different avenues of how do we survive, because the system itself is making sure that it supports itself, and the folks that are directly connected to that, they're going to do for that. In the 70s and the 80s, they recognized that they'd have to give something to some of the minority groups in order to keep them kind of pacified. But we're going to have to do a little bit more. If we don't do any more than this, man, but the funds started drying up. And when they start drying up, self-preservation is the first law of nature. So people started looking out for themselves. Well, look, I'd like to help you there, Mel, but man, look, I got a nephew who just graduated from college and he needs a job. So I'm going to have to hire him. Even though he doesn't have the experience, I'm going to have to hire him because I don't want to take care of him. So I'm going to, put him on the government dole here, which is, public funds.
Everybody, and I think that's what we miss, at least in not all areas of the Central Valley. I will say I like what's being done in Hanford. I like what's being done in Tulare. I see those are two communities that are working together and pulling together. Everyone's going to have their hiccups along the way.
Of course.
It's not going to be absolutely perfect, but it's perfect enough to get exactly what we're talking about. And I like that the NAACP Kings County President, Paula Massey, is talking about that. How do we get all the organizations together so we don't go out and create another organization
Right.
exactly the same as the organization that already exists?
Yeah.
I don't see that in Fresno. I think that there's a lot to be done.
Well, it has to do with the leadership over the years. With the folks, the veterans who had the experience and the know-how, just assumed that the folks coming behind them would pick up the same model and work, to keep the community behind them and doing things. And they found out years later that, man, when we moved away from the West Fresno community in particular and moved away, there was a big vacuum, a big void. And the folks that stepped in behind us were not the people who learned from the actual struggle and the fight. They were the benefactors of us who struggled and made it away and demanded, you're going to make sure that we have those opportunities. We're going to be professors. We're going to be in management. And when those folks got there, those younger folks who came along, who went to school and got their education, but filled some of those positions, they never looked back to say, okay, who am I going to bring along with me so that when I move up, somebody's going to be here to carry it for the next generation. And now we see over the last 30 years, man, and when we look for the kind of leadership that we really need, man, it's not there. No, it's not there because they don't have the passion. They don't have the passion for it. They may have some of the skill level for it, but the passion is missing. If you don't have the passion,
They want the power of it. They want the power.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Our power struggles.
Yeah.
People are struggling if I'm over this, I get to direct this, and this person. I get to say what I want to say.
Yeah, but what do you know about giving directions to this, and this?
That's the problem.
They don't know. That's the problem.
Ego says, but I'm here.
Yeah. I'm in this. Yeah, so everything's going to run by me first.
The head.
Yeah, HNWIC.
Yeah, I am the HNWIC.
Yeah. Y'all folk what you said. Yeah. Yeah, well, we own, but I don't want to tell all our family business, but those in the family know what it is.
Right.
So, we
can. And even if we look at the recent recall effort that's being done on our current leader here in Fresno, that has to do with something that has to do with the African American community standing up and saying, "Hey,
feeling neglected.
We are feeling neglected, and it's been a long time coming." And that's the problem that we're seeing. People think, "Well, how did this recall happened. Why is it happening? Well, it's happening. That should just tell you that right there. If it's happening, then even myself as a leader, I want to say, well, okay, what can I do differently? Even though by that time it's probably too late. Even by that time I've probably already been forewarned.
But you know what? Let me say this. And black people are some of the most forgiving people that you ever want. Yeah, and that's, you come with
Rodney King said, can we all just get along?
Yeah.
Can we all just get along? No.
Yeah. So sometimes we have to be reminded of past transgressions in order to make us stick to what we need to do in terms of making change in our community, because it can be, man, you can be swooned and made to believe that orange is really green when they talk it, and you listen to what the words that they're saying, but when you asked about the track record, it don't match up. Yeah, if it doesn't match up, then but that just gives us a bad, everybody's talking. Well, they're talking about you anyway. And I say this, when I was supporting the candidate for city council some years ago that was not Mr. Oliver Baines, but the Mr. Mike Briggs, I was supporting him. And we met with a group of African Americans, and I said the reason that I was supporting Mr. Briggs was that Mr. Briggs is a seasoned politician. Now, he doesn't look like me, but he understands what it takes to do what needs to be done in our district because of his experience. And we're at the point now that that's what we need. We don't have time for OJT. I said, if I liken our position to someone running the 440, which is what, one time around the track or two times? One time around the track. We're so far behind that they're about to catch up with us, and it looks like we're in front. And we hear all the noise in the stands, we think it's cheers. They're just laughing at us. And that's how I feel about where we are politically in our community when we don't take advantage of the experience of folks who can help us, or the willingness, even some of our past African American leaders who have gone through the process in the system, who have been willing to say, look, I'm willing to come back and give back. Let me share with you the benefit of my experience and my knowledge of how you can walk the water, because I already know where these rocks are. So let me show you where the rocks are, and then you can help other folks get. I don't want the credit, just let me share with you what I know so you can do a better job. And then you have attitudes who saying, well, it's my day now. I'm going to do things my way. I really don't want your experience. I'll find a way. So hence, we are where we are. And the reason that we're having such the start of turmoil in our community, and sometimes that's good. You need shake up in order to get things, if you send a strong message to anybody else who comes down you, and not just African Americans, but any other politician that decides they want to prey on your lack of enthusiasm, your lack of involvement, to let them know, whoa, wait a minute, these people aren't asleep. And so we need to make sure we come to them with something that's meaningful, that can be delivered. You can't come to them and
spew off anything that you want.
Yeah. We had one politician who come to a church and said, you all know me. I've been here for a while, and I'll have some cookies and donuts out in the lobby for you.
But what'd that do? Cookies and donuts?
He thought that was getting him points. Yeah, well, but he thought that was. Yeah, he thought that was getting him fat, so, getting him votes. So I guess that's what he, but that's some of the stuff that we have to deal with, and we're going to have to work on. And I like what I'm seeing and hearing in the community, the buzz around the coffee shop and the donut shops and on the corners where folks are having discussions now, more political discussions. Donald Trump certainly helped because he's the butt of all the jokes, so that leads into other conversations.
That's one of our things. I really put that on the paper.
Yeah.
And then I guess we're going to be talking also about the grandma that was shot in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
The police, and then Tamir Rice, the child that had the twins.
Yeah, that's interesting. I want to have that conversation. We're going to go break now and we'll come back?
We'll go to break and we'll come back to see if there's anything else that we need to follow up on locally.
Yeah.
So you are watching Valley Blacktop Radio on the ONME Network. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
My name is Brianna with Elite Wireless. We are a consultant, I guess that's probably the best way, and we're solutions engineers. In our situation, we did look like a brand new business because of the way we were expanding all at once. So in that case, you have a lot of discrimination from the banks. So we wanted to create our own brand. We wanted to grow outside of what we were doing at that particular point. We grew about 6 departments within a year's time. Each month it becomes a struggle when you're growing rapidly like we are. So growing rapidly doesn't mean that, again, the customers know about every product that we provide or every service. But they came in and they got us at a very pivotal point.
We, the people of the San Joaquin Valley,
pledge to do our part to protect our air and the health of our community.
We pledge to burn cleaner and burn less.
We pledge to register our wood-burning device.
We pledge to be good neighbors and check before we burn.
Because protecting our air can be as easy as checking before we burn.
It's our air. It connects us all. And together, we can protect it.
Check before you burn. A message from the Valley Air District.
So we're a bridge, right? So what are we a bridge to, and who are we a bridge for? Well, that emerging company that it may be doing business out of their living room or their garage, that they want to hire somebody for the first time. You know, that's a scary jump. So providing some capital, a little bit of guidance through that jump is really what we're there for. I mean, it's word of mouth is how we spread, and so we want people out there to know that our doors are open, and if you just want an hour of our time to sit down, pitch your idea, talk about what it takes, that we have loan officers that can sit down with you, professionals that have guided others towards capital, but maybe it's not even just capital that you need, maybe it's just some ideas or take a look at a projection.
Fresno, after a great summer of water conservation, our numbers fell the past few months.
And to avoid state fines, we're cutting back to 1 outdoor watering day per week, starting November 1st.
Odd-numbered addresses water on Saturday and even addresses on Sunday.
Or be a zero hero and stop outdoor watering into the springtime.
Many Fresno landscapes survive on just dew and rainfall all winter long.
So remember, one day is okay, but you can be a hero with zero.
A message from the City of Fresno.
Want to be a featured DIY expert on AMP-TV Now News? Have 5 years experience in the field of knowledge you want to share with millions of viewers? Great! Find out how you can earn money by helping others make their lives better. DIY, do it yourself, can mean viewers are saving money, enhancing their lives, or looking at a more efficient way of doing a task. If you've got the information to share, we've got the hookup for the digital download. Find out more by going to news.amptvnow.com. That's news.amptvnow.com. Get help with sorting your finances by following the best DIY expert advice featured on AMP-TV Now News. Get in-depth information throughout the week about the experts from news hosts Julia and Lennis, who do an in-depth report of what's in that $4.99 digital download. A digital load of information to help enhance your life, business, family, and more. See the latest DIY feature this week by checking out our website at news.amptvnow.com. That's news.amptvnow.com.
Well, we're just trying to figure out this heat thing here in the African American Museum. But welcome back to Valley Life Talk Radio on the ONME Network with myself, Julie Dudley, Najib, Mel Sanders. Jewel will be back on Sunday. She's handling business. Okay, fun business, but still.
Oh, before I forget, George, the drummer.
Yes.
He's also an air conditioning specialist.
Is he?
Yeah.
So
anyway.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that's why we're having a conversation. When you talk to people, you find out what who can help you and who. So yeah, you just keep that in the back of your mind.
The ONME shopper. Speaking of the ONME shopper, these wonderful glasses came from, and I'm trying to put my. I got 3 different levels that I can put on my 2016 glasses. Can't see all of them, but it does exist. That these glasses are on here. Right. But again. again, we are honoring our local vendors in the shopper.
Mm-hmm.
From the mugs with the candles, which are they're seasonal,
Mm-hmm.
meaning they're beyond
Year round. They do. Yeah,
year
they do.
round.
Yeah. Sweet Nanny's Candy Shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I remember she did one without any Christmas
Yeah.
things and all that stuff. We'll be talking
Valentine's Day. They got all kinds of it's for whatever season. Yeah.
So we'll be really highlighting some of those different vendors throughout the year. We also have people that give services. We have Katina Davis who does the tax services.
Mm-hmm.
With your taxes.
You know what? That is an excellent service there. Tax, because a lot of people don't know. They don't know how to maximize their money so that they don't have to give Uncle Sam so much, and how they can support local businesses without local nonprofits without causing them any loss, and making sure that. And it's a lot of times it's just that there was an old gentleman that I knew that had a few coins, and I was trying to share with him, you're gonna give the church this amount to finish the kitchen area. Turn it into your tax person, and the government's going to give it back to you.
That's right.
So but sometimes what's that old saying? You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
A lot of old dogs.
Yeah,
that I know they aren't going to learn those new tricks. I've heard some black folks say, "Oh, I don't need to file tax. I don't make enough." I'm like, that's not why you file. If you're a sole proprietor or a business owner, I'm trying to help you get money.
Yes.
Marketing.
Yes.
They can write that stuff off.
Exactly.
I don't need to pay for that. I just do word of mouth.
But we have to educate, and it's a long, arduous challenge to do that, because.
The word of the night.
But maybe what we've missed, and we have to look at it from this light, is the messenger as opposed to the message. And in some cases, if we can use someone that has high name recognition, like somebody like a LeBron James, or somebody that can constantly preach that message of the reason why I do this in the community, and this is how I get my return back from the government.
Not Wesley Snipes, because he didn't do a good job of that.
Well, I mean,
He's an example of not.
Yeah, well, we don't want to use nobody that went to jail for it. We want somebody that's actually doing something in community. Oh yeah, well, see, you want somebody that has demonstrated over the years that they use this principle and it works for them. Right. Even though we have local people who could tell them the same thing, but people, they don't want to hear from them. They want to hear somebody who they think is somebody. And when they say the exact same words, man, we got to do that. You hear what he said or she said? So maybe that's where we're missing, that opportunity to get that message out there to our community in mass. So we got a lot of work to do. It's important. This communication link is extremely important, and we got a lot of work to do to make sure it stays alive and functional.
Indeed. Well, I know at least with Valley Black Talk Radio and ONME Network, we're starting by just doing an ONME shopper. That's showcasing these different vendors, business owners who have services and products throughout the valley. So I guess that's what we can do. So I guess we should talk about some of the national items, and we have the Tamir Rice. This was the
Oh, you mean don't Trump Rice?
You think so?
No, I'm just being facetious.
A toy gun over Trump. Let's talk about the toy gun, and then we'll talk.
Okay, we get Trump on the way.
Trump
Okay.
Junk. We got plenty.
Oh yeah, that fits. Yeah.
Trump junk, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so I know that the officers get off; they're not being charged.
Right. I was just yesterday that the state's attorney, or was it the county district attorney, had a press conference and said that the grand jury had found that there was not a reason to file criminal charges against. The ironic part about it was, normally, the district attorney does not state his opinion when he sends it to the grand jury. He waits until after they bring a finding.
So what does that mean if he stated it before?
He tainted the pool. If you're the district attorney and you're telling the people that are going to be making the decision what you expect as an outcome, hey.
So what does a person do? What should the community do? I mean, at this point,
Well, let's back up and look at this and see. Let's try to play devil's advocate for a second. And I know you don't like this, but let's look at, put yourself in a police officer's position. And you get a call saying that there's a man, an African-American with
not a boy.
An African-American, period. I don't care if it's a boy or a man, because we all know white folks are scared to death of black men. So let's just take that as a given. You're a police officer, and you've been told that there's an African-American with a gun in the park. When you get there, I would think that your first inclination is this. On a normal shooting situation, common sense tells me, if I heard that there's somebody with a gun and I'm coming up in the park, I am not going to drive up within 15 feet of that individual. I'm going to stop and see if I can find out, can you put the gun down and find out what's going on, and that kind of. Within 15 feet of this kid, and as soon as he got out of the car, he was shooting. As soon as so there was, to me, it was already, when he drove up, he knew he was going to kill him. It wasn't about trying to subdue the situation and find out what's going on. No. Black kid, gun, bam, kill. And that's what they did. I mean, there was no time to thought process. And I know that if the instructions to police officers are to drive and just get into, to pull up into a situation and put your life and your partner's life in jeopardy, if there was a real gun, didn't make any sense. Why would you pull your car within 15 feet of a kid and you didn't know whether or not it was a real gun or not? If you assumed it was a real gun, why would you do that? So to me, it was execution. I'm going to pull up and we're going to kill him. Just as soon as bam. And that's what they did. And then they find out later, oh, it was a kid, but oh, well, he should have had a toy gun. And they have a real bad attitude. I mean, it's kind of like, how did a guy post $1 million bail in Chicago, a police officer? He got that kind of money?
It could have had some support.
It had to. Some other folks had to put in for that and make sure that he didn't spend any time in jail, because one of the things is
he may not last.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, you look at some of those very folks he put in jail might be in there waiting on him. Oh, you here now? Oh, come here, let me talk to you, partner. But I think in the case of the Rice kid,
so
it was.
So when you told me to put myself in the shoes of this officer, I did, and I still feel like he did wrong by just rolling up on him like that and just starting shooting. There was no chance to even discover.
But do you, and if you're an officer, taking the kid out of it, just a person with a gun, would you feel like, without knowing all the information, that if you reacted that way, that you would be justified in pulling your trigger?
No, but they created justification behind it, obviously, and they got off.
Well, I think that, he wants to go home to his family as well as anybody else.
This child will never get to go home to his family.
I understand that, but here was a kid with a gun. It was a toy gun.
Then let's talk about the manufacturers that are making exact replicas of real guns.
So how easy is it to spray some spray paint on that orange tip or whatever it is to tell that it was I think you have to change the culture of the officers. You don't just roll up on somebody within 15 feet and start shooting. You stay a safe distance away before you decide whatever your next move is going to be. These guys didn't do that. They just rolled up, and to me, they had execution on their mind. Black kid, kill him. It's not like the guy in Chicago that shot the kid that was walking around away from him with a knife. Yeah, he had a knife. He's walking away from it 16 times. That was in Chicago.
Okay, because San Francisco, same incident. He had a knife. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the recent protest.
Yeah.
In San Francisco, same thing. He's walking away, and the cops just...
The guy in Chicago happened a year ago.
Yes.
The one you're talking about happened a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, it happened.
My point is the same.
Yeah.
It's the same premise, and the same thing is happening.
The guy was on the sidewalk. There's 6 or 8 police officers, according to the video, 6 or 8 police officers there. Here's a guy. He looks like he's not coherent. He's there, You mean to tell me he's got a knife? You got nightsticks? Even if you didn't have a taser, excuse me, I know you got nightsticks, and your gun's your last resort. Yeah. Do you know what happens?
Have a gun.
No, and they knew what he had. They knew he had a knife. They saw the knife. To me, and there's 6 or 8 of you guys there, do you know what a nightstick can do to a hand? The damage it can do to a hand? And you chose a gun rather, well, I don't know if well, there's 6 more. So 6 times the time that you strike him with, there's no way that he's going to get up. I don't care if he's on the PCP or whatever he's under. When you start breaking those bones, he's already, you know, what I saw of the video, the guy was staggering. I mean, he couldn't even.
The Freddie Gray video. So I mean, that's about the same. He could have, just like he was beat. I still feel he was beat before he got into the van.
Freddie Gray?
Yeah, Freddie Gray case. And so now we look at the San Francisco man. He was a little old guy. They could just, like you said, pounce on him with the sticks or a stun gun. Now the recent thing in Chicago, they didn't even give him a chance.
No. When the officer pulled up, even though there were several officers around there too, the officer who shot him said he was in fear of his life. How are you in fear of your life and the guy's going this way and you're over here? And then 16 times? How much fear is that? Oh, man, yeah, you're really in fear of your life.
Not 1 or 2 just to wound him so you could get the knife out of his hand, but 16.
16. And then you were reloading your magazine and one of your partners had to say, hold off, man, hold off for a minute. Whoa. So to me, that wasn't his first time. I would be willing to bet that this guy killed before. No, I'd be willing to bet he killed before. And the way that the system covers up for one another, the code of silence or whatever the blue or whatever they call that. Yeah, these guys, they're going to take care of one another regardless. And it doesn't matter about ethnicity, because we remember the one in South Carolina where the kid was running away. The guy was running away and the officer shoots him in the back and then walks back and picks up something and then comes up and drops it by the guy. And here's an African-American officer standing right at the head, never said a word. And when the report came down, his report matched the other reports. So to me, until you start prosecuting some of those other folks who were standing by, it's going to be hard to break that silence because, and then too, you got to change the culture of the people making the decisions to hire. You know, and I remember when we were on the FM conservative talk station there where the gentleman was trying to get me to speak to, well, you're saying we need more black officers. No, I said officers need to live where they serve. So I guess you're saying, well, if that's how it works out, that's how it works out. But that's not, I'm saying that officers need to live in the communities that they serve. You cannot live in Fresno and work in Hanford. To me, it doesn't make any sense. You need to be in the area where you serve, where people get to know you, and because your job is about protect and serve. So that means you have to have a relationship with folks. Otherwise, they can hire any thug to come in there and training that this is what happens, and then, you know, when this guy raises his left hand, you bam, hit him with a, well, he might have been raising his hand to say, I'm sorry. No, he raised his hand, so we're trained to strike that. So, you know, that's.
So what do you think about the 55-year-old grandmother and mother who
excuse me,
the door, just trying to get the door for the neighbor who asked her to get the door to stop the 9-year-old had some mental problems, I'll just say. She gets shot right at the door just by opening the door. So
well,
who's in the state of fear, the cops or the nation?
Well, evidently it's us, because, you know, you were called to help. And you turn around and kill people who had nothing to do with it. They were trying to help you.
Why would we want to call it help? I wouldn't want to call the cops to help me.
Exactly.
You know, at this point, why would any African-American person?
But let's look at it from another perspective. What if those folks those officers lived in that neighborhood? They would understand the culture and the nature of that neighborhood, and they would know they'd get a sense of whether or not, is this one that I need to come in with my gun, or do I need to come with my nightstick, or do I need to use my strong voice? And say things, you know, that relate to the neighborhood about open this door, you know, because those can be effective tools too. The gun is the last thing you need, especially when the other people on the other side don't have a gun. And even the kid that they were coming after had a bat. He didn't have a gun. They had tasers. So why did you shoot him? And he'd already, you knew he had mental, you know. So here the mayor's coming back from his Cuban vacation, saying that he's gonna, he's gonna come back early, talking about, well, we're gonna deal with mental health issues when we make calls. Now we're gonna have to find a way to deal with that. Oh, really? Well, this ain't the first time. This has been happening for years. You're just now doing it. Now that the people are protesting and calling for your resignation and going after a recall.
Black Christmas Day, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm. They're blocking traffic, doing all of that stuff.
Now you come back.
Yeah. But anyway, it's all around us, folks. It's not just an isolated incident. It's all over the country. As a matter of fact, it's all over the world. I mean, other countries are having similar problems with people who are authoritarians and want to dictate to everybody else what they should do while they reap the benefits of other folks, the common guys, hard work and labor, yet the people at the top reap all the benefits. And it's the same thing here. And, you know, we got time to talk about Donald? That's where we're going with that.
That's my point. You talk
Yeah.
about control issues.
Yeah. And this is where he is.
Let's get to the Donald Trump.
Yeah, he is, man, he is, I'm listening to the pundits talk, and they're all saying that they expect for him to fall at any time.
Yes, anytime.
But they're saying that it's going to have to take something special because the folks who are dedicated to him, they don't care what he does or what he says. They're going to be with him regardless. So it's going to take some other groups of the conservative right to step up and say, no, we're not like that. And so we're going to have to demonstrate. But man, if they keep the race like it is, and I think that's why you see Donald Trump kind of changing his focus on who he's attacking and looking across at the Democrats, because he needs to have a full field of Republicans splitting the Republican vote, because his vote's going to stay strong. It's already demonstrated. They don't care what he says. He's going to stick with them, man. Yeah, you're right, Donald, whatever. But the rest of them are trying to be politically correct. They want to be, you know, have a something that the masses can accept. Man, Donald Trump is, I don't care about that. Let me beat up on Clinton.
Yeah,
Pardon?
so, okay, when we're looking at how the community, I'm saying America, how the American community is taking in Trump, they're changing freeway signs. You know,
Oh yeah, but that just.
But that says a lot. That's more than.
Yeah, those are what do they call those people?
Tea partiers do that though. Do we remember?
Nah, those are what do they call those people that go in here? Hackers.
Yeah.
They go in and they hack this, and that could happen to anything.
Okay, but
Yeah,
I'm saying, I'm looking at the dynamics of the American community.
Nah, I don't think the majority of the Americans agree with his sentiments totally. Now, there on some segments of it they agree.
Jimmy Kimmel, that's
Yeah, but
did you watch Jimmy
no. What did he say?
Oh man, he's
What did he say?
he went around town asking people a question, and he would end the sentence with Donald Trump, and what is it you want to, he would start the sentence, it was already negative, and they said Donald Trump is bad for, and they say, some people say the world, America, America, the world. And really the statement was that Donald Trump was bad for ISIS. But nobody said that.
Yeah.
He said America, the world.
Yeah.
The black dude that came, he said me. so that was funny. The black person.
The only smart one in the bunch who recognized that he was going to be. Yeah.
Just like that. You're blocking.
Yeah. Well, I think he's going to be, you know, all the things that he's doing in terms of being able to get folks energized and want to be a part of his campaign are going to benefit the Democrats in the end, because he's now changed his focus from not talking about Bush or none of the others. He's talking strictly about the Clintons. And
he's on that.
Yeah, I think he's smart to do so if he does not want to have any more dissension in the ranks of the Republicans, although he just lost one today. George Pataki pulled out of the race today, so that's one less. But he needs to have as many Republicans stay in the race as possible, so when it comes time for them to start talking about delegates, they split them up, and he comes out with his solid group that's going to stick with him regardless. And then he can have some leverage to talk about who is going to be the Republican nominee. But I maintain, like I said in the beginning, this is all about making sure that Ms. Hillary Clinton wins the nomination and the White House.
So this is a political game. Somebody got paid off.
Well, I don't know if it's paid off, because he didn't get paid. I mean, he didn't need any money, but he loves the power. He loves the power.
When I say payoff, it doesn't have to be money.
No.
Be something else.
Well, whatever the something else is, he likes it. He enjoys it.
Because when they showed that clip of when he said the Clintons are his friends and now Hillary, they're really good friends, and now it's just contradictory.
Yeah.
There's something with that.
Yeah, it's small politics. He knows he's talking to, he's preaching to.
In a different way. paid through power.
He's saying, look, our strategy is we're going to make sure that the Republicans don't win. So whatever we have to do to make sure that happens, let's do that. I'm going to go over and be a Republican, even though I ain't never been a Republican before. I'm going to run as a Republican. I'm going to get everybody on my side, and those folks. And now the real conservative Republicans are screaming mad because here's a guy that's coming over here perpetrating a fraud. And they know it, and they were afraid to say anything at first because he threatened them. Well, if you guys, I'll just pull out and start the independent campaign if you guys want. How about that? And so they were afraid of it. Now all of a sudden they're trying to really bulk up, and except for Ted Cruz, he's been the strategist all along to position himself in a position. Yeah, he's figured out how to just stay close enough so when he does fall, guess who those folks are going to like? Because I'm talking a lot of the stuff he's talking, only I'm a little bit more sophisticated with it, and I'm not going to call names, but the right-wingers don't like me either. They say that I don't fit, so I'm going to get close to Trump, and then when he falls, guess who's going to catch his votes? So, but at the end of the day, when you look at the polls and whether or not any Republican can beat Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders, if he's so fortunate enough to be the nominee of the party, which looks like it's not going to be a champ.
Late night says that he is.
He's going to be the nominee?
No one predicted that, but we'll see.
Yeah, I would love to because he got my vote already. I mean, I'm just saying, and even though in California it doesn't matter because, California is a Democratic state and they're going to go with, the selection of the party when the party is Hillary Clinton. That's who they're going to go with. So, but if I had a choice to vote, if it was in the November election and he was the candidate for president, oh yeah, I'm going with Bernie Sanders. I like, he's reaching out to African Americans, primarily back in the Midwest and the South, and some of them are looking at him a little differently now. Now, wait a minute, and Hillary has to change a lot of the stuff she's been saying, the middle of the road stuff. She's have to be more definite when it comes to Black Lives Matter and, things that.
More broad statements.
No, she's got to. Yeah, now she's got to be more specific, and she's done some more of that. She's done it, but here's a guy that's practiced it for the last 30 years. She's talking it for the last 30 days, if you will. But
see, how much do you think that Bill Clinton's going to help with their campaign?
I think he'll be involved. I don't know how much it'll help, or if it's really needed, because
I think it's over.
If you look at the Republicans, what are they bringing to the table? I mean, they're talking separation and denying citizenship to folks who they've been hiring over here all the time, working them for nothing, and now when it comes time to give them out, yeah. Well, when you're working for free or little or nothing and threatening them, if you don't, we'll send you back home. Now you want to, and now that you're looking at the growth in population, and a lot of their kids are now able to vote because they were born here, and you're still holding on to supremacy. No, they're and some have stated it, that the Republican Party is going to be extinct in just a very short time because of their policies and practices over the past 20 years.
So there'll be a new party, or you think it'll migrate to the Tea Party then, when you say?
The Tea Party doesn't have a chance. Yeah, so it'll just be a party of...
new individuals?
Yeah.
The Trump Party?
Yeah.
Trump Jump Party.
Yeah.
Trump Jump. I don't know. Trump is an interesting character because he's doing it right. I admire him because all the marketing that he's doing.
Yes, he's mastered that. But he's got an advantage over all of the rest of them when it comes to that marketing. Yeah. But boy, what is he selling? And it's really speaking volumes to the lack of understanding, awareness, or knowledge by the American community, because this guy's not giving you anything, but we're going to make America greater. And you ask him how, we're going to do it, because he'll change the subject.
We're going to get rid of Muslims. He's actually pretty.
Yes, but when you go beyond that and ask him for substance, he'll give you another one of those statements like he will change the subject and talk about something else. He's not going to tell you specifics. We will be having specifics coming later, but I want to tell you, I can guarantee you, we're going to make America great again. Oh, really? Yeah. And folks just cheer, and they just, oh, man.
They get crazy. They love it. They're throwing pink heads in windows of mosques.
Yeah. Ooh. And then
And beating up people that are not even Muslim or not even a part of the Islamic faith.
No. Black folks show up in that, and you say something, oh, yeah, you got to escort you on. I got some bouncers that'll take care of you. Just like you in one of my casinos, we'll do you like that. You'll just bounce you right out of here. Yeah, go back on the other side. Go with the Democrats. Don't come over here. We don't want to hear that. And there were some people that were heckling him in the audience the other day, and he was getting ready to say something. You see that? You know how he makes that circle with his mouth?
Yeah. Look.
He puts his hands up and does like this, like you're out of here. You're out of here. I don't need negative folk. This, yeah, out. You, yeah.
That's what he does.
So you said it right. Clown, yeah, he's a clown. He knows how to perform. And so people will gravitate to that because he strikes a nerve. He says stuff that a lot of folks would want to, and to be honest with you, a lot of African Americans say that too privately. Some of the stuff he says about some of the other ethnic groups, they don't say it publicly, but he was, he's right. They got too many of them over here anyway. I don't know why they letting all these people in here in this country, and they gonna come over here and kill up a bunch of people. And my comeback to him is, well, what did we do to provoke that?
That should be the real question.
Yeah.
This is Americans become short-sighted because all they're looking at are the casualties, the after effect. Why is this all happening? Looking at the end result. How did we get to this point? Where's that causation factor?
Yeah, and that's when I always remind them of history about, how we've been treated all along in terms of folks having whole communities destroyed that were thriving, successful. They just destroyed them because jealousy. And, we can't let you excel. And, we're here. After all, we're the ones that brought you here. And you're doing better than us? Oh yeah. Yeah. So I just hope that, Trump stays in the race. And that the longer he stays in the race, the more we get to... Yeah, because everybody's getting to see more and more what the Republicans are really... See those guys that don't push back on him? Guess what? It's going to get on you. Some of that stuff that splashes off of him, it's hitting on you. So just keep Trump in the race. Let's keep him right there.
Right. Well, before we end the program, I want to talk about the conversation. We have about 5 minutes to talk
about who?
The conversation.
Oh, yes. Yes. Matter of fact, I've talked to 4 folks so far, and they've all agreed that they want to be a part of the conversation. And the conversation, boy, you took the words right out of my mouth. Oh, my goodness. I was just thinking about that. I said, man, this would be an ideal backdrop for that. Yeah. But it's about folks who are interested in leadership in our community, whether it be school board, city council, board of supervisors, but folks from our community. We have a lot of times one seat that has 5 or 6 people running for it. So what we thought about doing is having a conversation prior to that, just to kind of get to know the folks who may be interested in running, or we've heard would interested in, or we've stated privately that they're interested in running, and to have a conversation. I'd like to have it primarily among themselves to hear their interactions, and maybe we drop a question or two in just to kind of keep the conversation focused, but hear from them and let them go back and forth with one another about what their view is of their ability to serve and what they would do differently than folks who have served in the past. And that kind of thing, just to have that kind of a conversation. And I think it would help the community tremendously to hear from the heart and to hear what folks really, what they know and what they don't know. And they have an honest, fair conversation about that. Because without serving, there's a lot of things you don't know about any particular office that you go into. But I think a lot of it has to do with what is your mindset going in. Are you open, or are you going to be a broad listener, or do you have a narrow, focused group of people that you listen to, that you're going to be your advisors, and that's as far as you're going to go, even though you're new to the game and the people that you're talking to have no idea of what it's about because they haven't served in it. So, that's kind of, I want to hear from them in terms of what their strategy is, what is their passion, and what is it that they see that's lacking in our local community government. whether it be the school or the EOC commission or the,
And this is anybody who's running.
anybody, yeah, we want to hear from him.
African-American candidates, we want everybody.
Yeah.
So, and even if with the recall effort, let's say that seat becomes open,
Yeah.
and people are wanting to even candidate for that, we're gonna get all of those folks
Yeah.
that are.
And we're going to do some more down the road in terms of, interviewing candidates and that kind of stuff, us asking maybe some of the tough questions. But I think it's a good idea to hear.
More of that, though. That's
Pardon?
why I'm glad
Yeah.
we're doing that.
Yeah.
It's about time we do that, because we have to do more of that to educate our community and to let them know, look, okay, are you choosing a leader? Are you taking sound bites from the TV?
But the reason why I'm saying conversation is because you see, by just throwing it out there, we see how much they know. And we find out where they are. Exactly. I didn't want to say that part, but yeah. So when you hear that, now you know, okay, and then they get a chance to know, well, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I need to go back and do some more homework. And guess what they're going to do? I guarantee you, when are you guys going to have the conversation again? Because I'm ready this time. I'm ready. I remember on our previous radio station, we had a group of pastors that came on and we had this conversation. And one of the pastors was there, and he talked with all of his conversation was inside the four walls. The other pastors were talking about community things. So when I saw him again, he said, I wasn't ready for that one. But when are you going to have it again? I'll be ready next time. But I thought I made it clear to him what the first one was about. It wasn't about inside your four walls and what you're doing with your denomination and all. We're talking about community connection. How do you connect with community? And he just wasn't, caught him off guard, I guess, but when I saw him again in the community, man, when are you going to have it again? I'll be ready next time.
Well, that's good, because that's going to prepare them, and that way they know, any of the candidates out
Right.
there. Who are we going to have on first? Do we know what we're going to have on the first?
The first four, no, I don't want, I want to make sure we
I guess we'll have to just check it out. So
there's 4 names that are already committed, but I don't want to put their names out there yet.
People are willing to be a part of it too.
Yeah, so I want, yes, it's going to be fun and interesting.
Yeah, that is going to be fun and interesting. And speaking of,
And that is the second Sunday.
Yeah, the second Sunday, I was about to say.
Second Sunday in January, 6 p.m. So, folks, you need to tune into that. If you want to have a glimpse of a preview of folks who are interested in being your elected representatives, you want to tune in.
And we are not just getting Fresno County. We've got other counties, but Larry, and even
Kings County.
So just know that.
We want to do it for everybody. We're trying to be inclusive.
We are inclusive. The ONME Network.
Okay, all right.
So this wraps up this show, and even though it's pre-recorded, that's okay, because you'll be watching it as if it's right now.
And some of you doing that, we're hearing. Yeah. Well, okay, good.
Right on. And we look forward to being able to see you also this Sunday. We'll have Jewel, our very own Jewel, back. That'll be on the 3rd. And so we'll talk
New
about
Year.
the conversation. We'll have a conversation.
Yeah, conversation. Yeah.
And whatever else is happening. That conversation.
Oh, there's going to be some things going on. Yeah.
So I guess we won't see you till next year. Literally
next year.
But that's okay, because we look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you for watching this edition of Valley Block Tap Radio on the ONME Network.
Can I just say this before?
Yes, please say it.
It's easier to ask forgiveness than it is permission. So make sure you do something. Get ready to do something for next year.
I hope you start ending with quotes again, because you used to do that a lot.
Yeah.
You should do it on our channel.
Okay, we'll do that.
Doing that. Otherwise, have a safe transition to the new year. Some of you, hopefully, you're going to church. Others of you might be partying like me. Be safe, y'all. Be safe, y'all. Have a good one.
Good night.